Present Productions presents The Math of ESP, why it works even if you don't believe in it. Okay, I've been making some comments about the International Space Station and the fact that I'm going to step back into the game. I guess you might say in a technicality between me and the gods, they've kind of got me looped into trying to help you as a human race one more time. So, to give you a little bit of an idea, okay, like I said, the United States does not own the International Space Station. The United States is not the sole company involved in the International Space Station. The International Space Station is originated with 7 countries. It now has 15. When the United States gets its butt out of there, it'll have 14 still. There are numerous other countries that do small things, bits and pieces indirectly for the space station. Any and all of the United States equipment can be seized by the human beings of this planet for their survival, because the United States is a fascist regime. The United States is currently on a suicide mission to murder this planet. There is no other way to look at it. They have been out and out failing to do anything about the destruction they cause. They are extremely warmongering. The people inside the United States think that it is much, much more intelligent to spend their time calling people names and pointing fingers and chasing ghosts and shadows and stuff like that than to do anything logical, like sit down and read documents, sit down and read evidence. The idea of reading in the United States is actually very, very much frowned upon. I probably on average once to twice a month see somebody writing something, they write, about how people should stop reading, people should stop looking, people shouldn't question the government, people shouldn't question what's right or wrong, what's up or down, what's left or right. All of that is a dictatorship. All of that is fascism when you start saying that it is much more important to collect money than it is to collect life, to make life happen, to keep yourselves alive, to protect what is the future of your children and your children's children. Okay? So, when you stop and consider how deadly the United States government has been behaving for at least the past 50 to 80 years, when you consider that your oceans are littered with millions of barrels of radioactive material that have been down there in your cold water trenches for so long now that the radiation is simply eating through the barrels, okay? It's not the seawater eating into the barrels. It is the radiation of the waste that is destroying the barrels. So there is no containment. It is an absolute fallacy that anyone, anywhere on this planet says that you can contain your radioactive waste, your radioactive material. It's like the lunatics who sit there and say that Fukushima didn't really happen. There was never a meltdown because Japan knew that the earthquake was coming the next day, so they ran in there and they shut down the reactors and they pulled all the fuel out and they put the fuel on pallets and stacked it up outside and got it out of town long before anything happened. Anybody who ever reads what a nuclear reactor is, how it operates, and what its running systems environment is, knows that A, you can shut down a reactor with an emergency kill switch. That inserts carbon rods, graphite rods into the pile, the nuclear fuel, deadening it, slowing it down. It will take at least 2 weeks after that emergency shutdown button is hit that nuclear pile is cold enough for anybody to get near it and remove it. So there is no overnight shutdown. When you take that nuclear fuel that has been spent, not brand new fuel, the old worthless fuel, it must sit in a cooling pond for up to 10 years before it is cold enough to put in a 55-gallon barrel covered in cement and steel and whatever else they throw around it, so that it is contained within that barrel for about 30 to 35 years. The United States and Europe have been dumping waste product from nuclear plants for 50 years. Hanford in Washington, in 2000, I was reading about them recording radioactive material being found in the Columbia River. Last year, when Hanford started collapsing and falling in on itself, and all the reports started coming out about how there are million-gallon tanks of radioactive waste liquid that is so hot it is literally destroying the tanks that they were in, and the tanks are 20 years older than they were supposed to last for. Yeah. You don't have containment. You don't have any logic to sit there and say, oh, it's no big deal, when you've just polluted your entire environment, your entire system, your entire ecosphere, your entire food chain, your entire oxygen chain. You cannot convert anything to oxygen on this planet. Plants do that for you. You cannot make a food chain without all of the environmental problems being solved that have killed that environment. So, in order for you to understand my position, I'm going to go ahead and step back into the spiritual realm stuff, since this is math of ESP and stuff like that. We're going to show you a little bit about how I'm different, because I just fight for everybody. I don't really give a damn if my enemies survive or not. I don't like them, I don't like what they're doing, but if I believe in freedom of speech, they got the right to mouth off. Donald Trump has every right to open his mouth and sound like an idiot. The biggest problem with idiots is they don't like people pointing out they're an idiot. Therefore, they should just shut their mouths. They don't need to be told to shut their mouths. They need to realize that their own stupid comments are their own stupid comments, and people like me with an intelligence way over 200 see right through that bullshit. I was never sold on Donald Trump. I was never sold on Bernie. I was never sold on Obama. I was never sold on the Clintons or the Bushes or Reagan or any other president, because when I was 12 years old, I investigated the political system and realized that it had been sold out in 1888 easily. And technically, if you look all the way back down it, your elite aristocrat, 1% elite rich, created the American Constitution. So it has never been for the little people. It has always been a dictatorship. It has always claimed to be a democratic system when it is actually a representative system. It has been hardwired into being an absolute lie and a fallacy. So, let me bring up this fun little thing here. Okay, like I said, I've got Revelations 2:17. See this? Okay, that's given by a God, folks. That's not you humans giving each other awards and oh, I'm so great. I was given something that for me was an insult for the first 10 years I had it, because I had to research it and find out that, oh no, it doesn't mean I belong to anything. It means I don't belong to anything, and I hear absolutely everything. Now, this little image here, I stole this off the web. Thank you to whatever artist put this together. It's very nice. The White Horseman of the Apocalypse, and I'm even certain I'm saying that right, okay, is something that I was called as a little kid. Not by people coming up and saying, oh, join our group. No, no, this was people walking up in public. You are the White Horseman of the Apocalypse, and turning around and walking away. Now, if somebody's ego stroking, they don't turn around and walk away. If somebody wants to get your money, they don't turn around and walk away. Okay? This White Horseman, sadly, to my surprise, in 2016, when I made this, right? Yeah, 2016. This person who uses the armies of heaven, which means he'll never pick up a gun or a bomb, he will use the armies of heaven. Or I might pick up a gun and blow somebody's head off. That's a whole different thing. But the idea is this person doesn't use human guns and bombs and torture and all that crap. I use the armies of heaven. Okay? So I have the mark to be that person, because this person has to have, right down here, where is it? He has a name written on him that no one knows but himself. Revelations 2:17. Nobody knows that name except me. Okay? Go ask the gods. Don't trust me. Go ask the gods, dudes and ladies and preachers and popes and imams. Go face your gods. Stop mouthing off about how you know a God when you can't even talk like a decent human being about the rest of your world. You can't treat your world like anything. So, in 2015, I posted all over the place, including sending messages to the United States government, that because in 1992, I was refused my human rights. In 1993, in a courtroom, I was told I didn't have any rights. In 1999, I had a judge in an open courtroom, in front of everybody. One judge, Garrett Only, one of the most corrupt little pieces of snot that ever came out of Plumas County's nose, told me that not only did I not have any rights, he was in no way, shape, or form going to listen to anything I put forward that was legal representation. He declared war against me, against my human rights, and against my son. In 2015, I accepted that challenge of war. The United States and I are at war. In October of 2015, I put forth the notices. In November of 2015, I picked up my rain sticks. Fire and ice storms, folks. All I can send at you. Anything in line with the United States government. In April of 2016, your weather damage was so bad, your news stations stopped giving you any kind of financial data on how much. They now talked about 250,000 brand new cars destroyed. They didn't tell you that that was $3.5 billion at least. And that was the third flood ravaging that one particular state. You are currently going through what has been almost a month of freeze and flood. So am I capable of doing anything? In one sense, I don't care. I'm having a world of fun watching you all get washed off of your land. I'm watching your infrastructure fall to pieces. I'm watching the news people stop talking about what's happening around the entire country. And just, oh, it's okay, they're having a little bit of problem over there. You're on the West Coast, so don't worry about the East Coast. You drop down to state by state, every state's being devastated. Every place is being devastated. Every country on this planet that supports the United States is getting the snot kicked out of it right now. So yeah, I'm powerful enough to back myself up. And my sticks, whether I have them in my hand or I simply use my mind, it makes no difference. I don't need these. This is my son's choice of a rain stick. This is from my mother. Together with me, they power to rule the world if I have to. But I can take you down, or I can save your butts, because I understand the reality of it.